Maniac Matthew on Busby Radio.
Welcome back to another fantastic episode of Busby Radio with Maniac Matthew. Hope you guys are doing well. I am super excited because this weekend show, we have the greatest singer of all time center stage, Elvis Presley. The Elvis show you all have been waiting for. You heard me right. Elvis is center stage 5 times an hour, and man, we have some good songs for you this weekend. And if you don't think Elvis is the greatest singer of all time, then I guess you're missing out. But I am willing to put up an argument over that. But there are a lot of facts that prove that Elvis is the greatest singer of all time. One, mainly because he is the best-selling artist of all time. He sold 1.8 billion records, the most by anybody. I think he's had more films and movies, been in more movies than a lot of people have. And he's just, there's so much more. I don't want to get into it too much, but that's my opinion and technically the truth. But anyway, before I get into some specific songs we're going to play, I wanted to talk about Elvis himself for a few minutes. So Elvis Aaron Presley was born on January 8th, 1935, and he died on August 16th, 1977. He was referred to as the King of Rock and Roll and is widely regarded as one of the most cultural significant figures of the 20th century. Elvis was born in Tupelo, Mississippi, and he moved to Memphis, Tennessee when he was only 13 years old. He began his music career in 1954 at Sun Records with producer Sam Phillips, who wanted to bring the sound of African American music to a wider audience. Elvis's very first RCA Victor single was Heartbreak Hotel, and it was released on January 1956, and it became his very first number one in the U.S. Within a year, RCA sold 10 million Elvis Presley singles. That's a lot. In November 1956, Elvis made his first film, which was called Love Me Tender. In 1958, he was drafted into the military and kind of relaunched his recording career 2 years later with some of his most commercially successful work. He held a few concerts and he was guided by Parker, I guess, devoted much of the 1960s to making Hollywood films and soundtrack albums, most of them critically deserted. Some of Presley's most famous films were Jailhouse Rock in 1957, Blue Hawaii in 1961, one of my favorites, and Viva Las Vegas in 1964. In 1968, he returned to the stage on NBC television called The Comeback Special and led an extended Las Vegas concert and lots of tours. In 1973, Elvis gave the first concert by a solo artist to be broadcast around the world, Aloha from Hawaii. Years after, this is a little bit about his death, years after substance abuse and really unhealthy eating, he compromised his health. And his health wasn't very good. And he died on August 16, 1977 at his Graceland home at age 42. Elvis is the best-selling artist of all time, selling 1.8 billion records worldwide. And what is really amazing is he's been dead for about 48 years now, and he's still selling records. He was successful in many genres. He was successful in pop, country, rock and roll, rockabilly, rhythm, blues, adult, contemporary, and gospel. He won 3 Grammy Awards, received the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award at age 36. He was inducted into lots of Hall of Fames. He holds several records, including the most Recording Industry Association of America, RIAA, certified gold and platinum albums, the most albums charted on the Billboard 200, most number one albums by a solo artist on UK Albums Chart, and the most number one singles by any act on the UK Singles Chart. In 2018, Elvis was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Here's a little bit more about his death right here. On August 16, 1977, Elvis was scheduled on an evening flight out to Memphis, to Portland, Maine, actually, to begin another tour. Now, I didn't know that. I just found that out, and that's really cool. That's only 2 hours away from where I live. That afternoon, his fiancée, Ginger Alden, discovered him unresponsive on the bathroom floor of his Graceland mansion. They tried to revive him, but he failed. He was pronounced dead at Baptist Memorial Hospital at 3:30 p.m. He was at age 42. President Jimmy Carter issued a statement that credited Presley with having permanently changed the face of American popular culture. Elvis's funeral was held at Graceland on August 18th. Outside the gates, a car crashed into a group of fans, killing 2 young women and critically injuring a third. Now, that's actually really interesting. This is really amazing. About 80,000 people outside of Forest Hill Cemetery, where Elvis was buried next to his mother. That's a lot of people at a funeral. I mean, that's a lot. Within a few weeks, his song Way Down topped the country charts and UK singles chart. And apparently someone tried to steal Elvis's body in late August. And then the remains of Elvis and his mother were reburied in Graceland's meditation garden on August 2nd. I think that's right at his house. So on that same day Elvis died, they were taking an autopsy, and at the Memphis Medical Examiner, Jerry Francisco announced that the immediate cause of the death was cardiac arrest and declared that drugs played no role in Presley's death, but turns out drug use was very heavily impacted in his death. A bunch of lab reports say that 2 months later, or they filed 2 months later, strongly suggested that polypharmacy, something like that, was the primary cause of his death. One reported there was 14 drugs in Elvis's system, which is crazy. He had an enlarged heart for a long time. I do know that. That, together with his drug habit, caused his death. But he was difficult to diagnose, and it was really hard to judge that. So Elvis, in my opinion, is the greatest singer of all time. He has over 30 movies, second most number ones on the Billboard Hot 100, and is still selling records worldwide. So this weekend is a supersized salute to the king, and we have 5 or 6? 5 different Elvis songs an hour. So kicking off every hour is a song from the 1970s, one of my favorites and just one of his biggest hits. The second song, Elvis song, is one of his biggest hits from the 1960s. The third song is a lost classic / forgotten favorite. The fourth song we'll be playing is one of my favorite Elvis gospel songs he ever recorded. I really wanted to take a peek in some of his gospel music. And the final Elvis song of the hour will be one of Elvis's first songs ever recorded. And we'll probably do a mix of some of the music from the 1950s too. Well, that's from the 1950s, but maybe a little bit in the later 1950s. So yeah, that's how that's going to work. So each one of those songs will be in each hour, and we will begin with a 70s song, and then the second Elvis song of the show is a song from the 1960s. And the song coming up this hour from that decade is a classic Elvis song from his movie Blue Hawaii, which honestly was one of his biggest hits from 1961. And I watched that movie, and I gotta say, it was pretty darn good. And I think it's my third or fourth favorite Elvis movie of all time. The Forgotten Favorite was originally from 1937 and was covered by Elvis in 1953 and released in 1957 from Elvis's album Elvis Golden Records. It was one of the very first songs Elvis recorded, actually. The gospel song we have is from his gospel album How Great Thou Art in 1967. I think he does a fantastic version of In the Garden. So that's also on the way. And to finish up the hour, you can never forget this Elvis song. We gotta go his first ever hit on the radio. You guys probably know what that is. I'll let you figure it out. Hope you enjoy this hour. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and you can request a song if you like. All you gotta do is drop me a comment. You can email me, maniacmatthew@gmail.com. I'll do my best to play your favorite song. If you haven't checked out the show yet, be sure to head over there. I'll leave a link in the description. Really would like you guys to listen to the show. This is the Elvis show we've all been waiting for. I've been waiting for a long time. If you haven't checked... Oh, no, we already went over that. Starting off the Elvis show is an Elvis request, actually, from Radio DJ from the Q106.5 show. The original Country Gold host, Rowdy Yates, one of my best buds, requested one of Elvis's last hits, Moody Blue. Rowdy, here is your song.